You know Among Us, right? Cool, forget about it. Let me tell you about Town of Salem 2 and why I think it is the most underrated game in its genre. So what is Town of Salem 2? Town of Salem 2 is a social deduction game equivalent to Among Us. Nah, actually, it's more of the Sam Sulek of social deduction games. With 55 roles and 4 factions, this game has insane potential for chaos and disruption. This game has a very steep learning curve and is very difficult for beginners. But that's kind of the appeal of it. Let me show you what I mean. So when the game starts, you're assigned a role. Once a role is assigned, you go into day 1 where you just get to chat, nothing special. After day 1, night 1 begins, which is where most of the stuff actually happens. You get to use your role ability. In this case, you can see I'm spy. After the night ends, assuming you don't die, you go into day 2, where the dead are announced, and then you can begin your discussion phase. From there, the game usually goes in 2 separate ways. Either someone accuses someone, or there's information about someone possibly evil, and you go from there. Or if there is no information, you do something called a VFA, or vote for alignment. This is an extremely common practice by town where in descending order, everyone is forced to claim their alignment. Not claiming will most likely result in you being hung, which you may or may not want, depending on your role. Town of Salem has over 50 roles. These include Amnesiac, Bodyguard, Cleric, Coroner, Crusader, Deputy, Investigator, Jailer, Lookout, Marshal, Mayor, Monarch, Prosecutor, Psychic, You get it, there's a lot. With all these unique roles, there are a lot of interesting interactions and gameplay mechanics. For example, remember how I said getting hung is a bad thing? Well, not unless you're Jester, in which case that will be your main objective. Or maybe you get Executioner, in which case you want a specific person hung no matter their role. My point being, there's a variety of playstyles in Town of Salem 2. So the pros and cons. A really nice thing about Town of Salem 2 is that every once in a while you will get a really good game that will make you feel like you're Sherlock Holmes. You'll figure out who the evil is, you will scum read someone. Even if you don't actually win, those games feel amazing and make you feel like you're smarter than you actually are. The game itself is really fun, even though it's not meant to be played with friends, and the people you play with will range from 500 IQ scholars to microwaved babies. Another pro in Town of Salem 2 is that it is a significant improvement over Town of Salem 1. On top of the balance changes, meta shakeups, new rules and mechanics, the game has an art style that I personally prefer more. Although the cosmetics are a bit more limited, the cool cinematics and animations make up for it. Like, I don't even mind when I die to Arsonist because I get to listen to this sick track. Another pro is that there isn't much pay to win in this game. Like, yes, paying will occasionally give you a small advantage, but it rarely does, and most of the time everyone relies on RNG anyway. Paying usually just gives you cosmetics. Another amazing thing about this game is that for a relatively small game like it, they roll out consistent balance changes and adjustments. For example, recently the Trickster role was changed, and it went from being the worst and most hated role in Town of Salem to one of my personal favorites. Coven also got a buff where they can pass around the Necronomicon, which basically dictates who does the killing, therefore also changing up the playstyle of Coven. Now the cons. One really huge thing that bugs me a lot is that the devs are consistently adding unnecessary shit to monetize the game. And I get it, because the game is technically free, the devs need to find a way to make money. But the way they sometimes decide to monetize this game is awful. Recently, they added a weekly battle pass system for €5 a week. If you were to buy this battle pass for the duration of the month, you'd be spending $20 a month on items that you can get just by playing the game. On top of that, they also added a seasonal battle pass, which costs $25 for the duration of 3 months, I believe. And the seasonal battle pass includes scrolls, in-game currency, and some new skins. However, it is so obvious that they included some god-awful skin recolors. Not only do they look mediocre, they are obviously just put there to bump up the price to an insane $25 and also just to drag out the battle pass to make it look like there is more content than they actually have. Another thing is that as much as you can have a great time in this game, you can also get quite frustrated from playing when you get teammates that are AFK or simply refuse to cooperate for no reason. Now this is gonna sound rough, but playing with newer players is one of the most wholesome and infuriating experiences you can have in this game. Because yes, you want them to like and enjoy the game, but you'll have moments where you try to explain something to them in in-game terms, and they will simply not understand or misunderstand you completely, which can result in mislynches and misplays which infuriate both of you. As much as this game has some annoying parts to it, I truly believe you should try it out if you want to feel like a detective or a victim of random chance. I love this game, which is why I spent over 1000 hours in it between the first and second Town of Salem. I hope they keep updating the game, and I hope you, my friend, join us in the Town of Salem.